Oh my God, I am at my wit's end with this project. I really don't know anymore. I'm seriously thinking rather than continue on with the pond, I'm just gonna fill it in and grow plants. So I'm losing 6 inches in a day. This is not normal for a pond. I'm starting to regret even taking this thing on. I might just have to chuck it in. I don't know. Let me think about it overnight. Hey guys, how's it going? So when I inherited this house, or bought it I should say, I got with it this pond, which was in disarray. It's probably from the 70s, I would think, or something like that. And after, 15 years of leaves and frog shit, I've decided to bring it back. So first thing I did was empty it out, which was a job and a half unto itself. Next, I patched it up, as you can see here. Gonna get rid of the rest of this water, apply a primer on it next, and then put some liquid rubber on it, fill that baby up, hook up a new pump, and we should be in pond heaven. Let's see if this thing works. So here's the ideal that I'm striving for. You can see it's a beautiful clear pond with lily pads, lotus flowers, and nice rocks. Unfortunately, this is what I had to start out with, a yuck fest with mud, water, and God knows what else in there. So better get cracking on making that thing better. Now, I knew this was going to be a much bigger job than I could handle as one 58-year-old guy, so I enlisted the help of my family, who were gracious enough to comply. I think the whole thing took about 4 or 5 hours of heroic mud slopping. We got some cool boots down at Walmart, which were not the most comfortable things in the world, but they kept our feet dry. So highly recommend you do that and protect your feet, because this stuff is pretty gross. Now, this pond has claimed many, many action figures over the years as my kids grew up, and I'm proud to say that we recovered one soldier from the muck. I think what we're going to do is clean him off and put him in my office. And this is the way the pond looked in the end. I still had to scrape up a little bit of muck at the bottom, but not too bad. And the next step, of course, was brushing it off and using the blower to get rid of the remaining dust so that we could have it nice and clean and move on to the next phase. I really want this thing to be as clean as possible so that when I apply the primer, it'll stick properly, and that'll be a good base for the rubber itself. My tools are my toys, and there are a few things I like better than the pressure washer and the paint sprayer. I got to use both of those in this project, and it did speed the project along quite a bit. You can see it nice and clean here, almost ready for application. Moving along. And voila, here is the cleaned out pond. I wouldn't say it is clean enough to eat off of, but I would say it's clean enough to accept a coat of primer or two. So take a look, not too bad. Initially, I thought the material was going to be a lot thicker and goopier than it turned out to be. It went on pretty easy with the paint sprayer, although I would recommend covering yourself head to toe because this stuff is pretty nasty and I'm sure it would cause cancer and whatever else it could if it got onto your skin. Be careful. Yuck. Well, it's a couple weeks later and we have the perfect weather this weekend, so we're going to try to clean this thing out one last time. I've applied 2 coats of primer, and we're gonna see if we can put the final tar coating on today, let that dry for the next 48 hours without any sort of rain occurring. And then we should be ready to move on to fixing the pump. Now, the full bodysuits might have been a little bit of overkill, but as I say, better safe than sorry. And again, the stuff went on pretty easy. Here you can see us putting on the first coat and letting it dry. Man, that was one extremely hot day. I could not wait to get those things off. Okay, so this is what 6 coats look like. Nice and thick. maybe even too thick in points, but better safe than sorry. Just unhooked the old pump here and hooked the new pump in by just kind of jamming that baby in there, tightening the clasp. So now tomorrow it's gonna rain and we'll see how it does. First trial run for the new pump, it goes up there into that guy over there, or rather pumps up through there and then comes back down into the pond, aerating it and also creating a natural filter. But we do have this problem remaining of this old disgusting pump here, which somehow they got in between the rocks over there and up and around. Now, I don't think I'm gonna be able to pry that baby open, so I'm just gonna cut the wire kind of here and here. Then next thing for me to do will be to figure out how to get that wire cloaked in there somewhere up to the box. But that's for another day. You're supposed to give this 72 hours to dry, and we just about have that before there's a rainstorm. So I think I'm gonna let nature fill up some of the rain in here, and I'm gonna top it off with a bit of hose water. We'll get that pump in its trials and see how that works out. Coming to a head here. Okay, well, we're gonna be putting some stone on the bottom of the pond, and it looks like it has arrived here. These are very, very white stones, so I don't know how this is gonna look against the black pond liner, but we'll see. These are white and the pond liner is black, so I'm not sure how that's gonna look. We'll probably end up adding some additional, maybe some gray stone in there as well, but these are going in the pond. Let's see how that looks. Okay, so it's been 4 days now, and it's supposed to take 3.5 days for the liquid rubber to cure. And you can see it's getting this sort of, went from a black color to a very gray tone. And I think that means it's ready to go. So I'm filling the pond up, and we're just above the pump, so I've started that. It's submerged now. Let's go take a look at that. Got some stones in there. There's the pump, kind of doing its thing. Here's the waterfall. So I figure I'm not going to drain, I'm not going to fill the whole thing right now. I'll do it in 2 stages. That way I'm not straining my well. So I think I'm going to fill it up to this ledge right here, and then we can let it be. Okay, so there was a bit of a mistake regarding the curing process. I thought initially that the turning gray was a good thing, that it meant maybe it was settling in on its nice colors. But thanks to the rise of the internet, I Googled it, and it turns out that when your rubber is turning gray, it means it hasn't fully cured. So looks like it's time to empty this whole thing out, give it another couple of days to cure, and try it again. Best laid plans. It's been 1 week since I did my last coat, so the plastic has had time to cure. It's pretty hard. Hopefully it's not going to turn gray next time it gets wet. The stones are in, as you can see, but there's a bit of a problem. I have a lotus plant here, and I'm not too sure about what to do about the height, right? Because these things look like they're going to come up about that high at max. And, you know, I'd like to put it here in the center, but what do? I'm thinking maybe I get some bricks and kind of clear these out, make it level on the bottom, and put a 2 courses, maybe 3 courses of bricks there, and then put this baby on top, and maybe that'll get me my height, plus it'll center it right there in the pond, which would be nice. So moving along. I don't think I'm gonna fill it. I think I'm just gonna wait until the rain kicks in, which is scheduled for the next day or two. And then I'll just take it from there. I'll put the hose to it after that. We'll see how that goes. Now, as a little sidebar to the project, and to let you know what a humanitarian I am, when we first started this thing, I built a temporary residence for the frogs that had been living in my pond. And that seems like none of them took me up on it. None of them took my invitation. However, the frogs are back, baby. They saw what a great little system we have here, and they moved back in. Let's see if we can find one. There's a friend. There's a frog friend. Let's go check him out. Now, as an added bonus, not only have the frogs moved in, but they've been getting busy. There's a whole crap load of tiny little tadpole things in the pond now. I don't know if you can see them with the camera, but I'm gonna let you try. And the whole pond is filled with them. I mean, there's gotta be, I don't know how many really. Look at them all. Yes, not only is this a new pond for the family, but a great humanitarian moment for the frogs. Oh my God, I am at my wit's end with this project. I really don't know anymore. I'm seriously thinking rather than continue on with the pond, I'm just gonna fill it in and grow plants, because I spent hours and hours and hours putting on coat after coat of rubber and letting it dry, checking it, and now it turns out there's something wrong with the waterfall. It's leaking. I'm losing 6 inches in a day. This is not normal for a pond. I'm starting to regret even taking this thing on. I might just have to chuck it in. I don't know. Let me think about it overnight. So much effort into this thing already. Okay, well, now that I'm done with my belly aching, it is time to figure out what's going on with the pond. So, I filled it up to about just there. You can see where the line is, right? And so that is exactly where I filled it up to. It is not leaking due to the plastic or the rubber coating in this thing. So it has got to be only one thing, because it only happens, the rapid water loss only happens when I have the pump running. So it's got to be something right up there, you know? It's got to be something where they buried this cable. Oops, sorry, Froggy. They buried this cable here, and it runs up somewhere underneath those rocks. So I'm gonna have to just start taking those rocks off piece by piece and just digging in, see if I can see the leak, start the pump running, see where it's leaking, fix the leak, and then reconstruct the waterfall, which I guess is not a bad thing because that waterfall is pretty old, pretty dated. Okay, let's take a look, see what's under there. Yeah, God, okay, we got some dead bugs and a lot of dirt. I'm kind of terrified to pull off this plastic here. It's probably been here for 30 years. Who knows how long. And God knows what is underneath here. Could be a broken tube, could be a dead body, we don't know. So, drum roll please as we pull this thing off. Yuck. Whatever it is, it's not gonna be pretty. Yeah. A lot of bugs, that's for sure. I'm gonna have to let those guys get done with it. Pretty gross, really? What do you guys think? Ay, ay, ay. All right, so we got like some kind of little coat of rubber here. I don't know what's going on there, but I think the next step is to let these bugs disperse, and then we can take a look by digging it out and see what the heck is under there. What do you guys think? All right. Okay, it's a couple days later, time for an update on the pond. It has been overtaken by algae, so there's that. And we have a lot more froggy guests now. They seem to be just more every day. Right, dude? Oh, hey. So yeah, it's pretty algae-like. You can see, right? Oh, hi froggies, come on now. Everybody's gonna get annoyed. There's a frog hanging out right there in my lily pads, so that's kind of neat. These two seem to be the mayors, I guess. That's the mayor and that's the sergeant at arms or something, because he croaks, and then this guy follows him around by about, you can see 18 inches or so. Oh, somebody's having a little summertime Mimi time or whatever it is. That's very nice. I think we're gonna have more babies soon. All right, so that being said, I've got to get some kind of filtration system in there pronto. And to that end, I'm back here at the waterfall, uncovering it, and I kind of feel like this is like Indiana Jones' lamest and last adventure, right? There's a little tomb in here or something waiting for me with the pipe. Down there. But when I last visited this, there was a bunch of ants here, and it seems they have taken their larvae and found new residents. So that's good. Don't want to disturb anything if I don't have to. But yeah, you can see down here, looks like there's something going on there. So the next stage is going to be to open her up. But I guess what's the worst that could happen? Well, I guess somebody could have put a baby rattlesnake in there some 30, 35 years ago that's been growing, lying in wait, and is sworn to bite the neck of whoever frees him or her from the tomb. Nah. All right, let's go get a shovel, some picks, see what's in there. Well, I'm glad to report that after all that digging, I did in fact hit a pipe. So we found where it came through here, but surprisingly, it doesn't go straight up. It seems to go side to side. All right, let's do it going this way when we thought it was going to be going that way. So that's puzzling. And that is going to bring us to the end of part 1 of the most epic pond restoration ever. Possibly. So if you enjoyed this, make sure to tune in to part 2 to see how the waterfall comes out. And if I ever make it to that beautiful pond that I showed you at the beginning of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Obviously, I need you to subscribe, to like, comment, all that good stuff. Helps me with the algorithm. And also let me know what your thoughts are on this pond restoration, what I should do, what you would have done differently. Let's figure this thing out and get the pond going. Save the pond!